Listen.
Hello and welcome to NVC IGN's Nintendo podcast. I am your host, Casey DeFreitas, and today I'm joined by Zachary Ryan.
Hello.
Per Snyder.
Hi.
And Brian Altano.
Hi.
We just watched an incredibly long, incredibly dense Nintendo Direct.
That's right.
But let's talk about the biggest story from that 40-minute presentation.
Super Nintendo is coming to Switch.
Super Nintendo games are coming to Switch, and a bunch of games are coming to Switch.
I would like to guide and point everyone to my Twitter account where I correctly predicted that Super Nintendo games would be coming to Switch
4
today.
years ago.
We've been talking about this for a long time, but only I got it right by saying that today would be the day that it was announced. So congratulations to me and me alone.
So I don't
Zach.
think you predicted how they'd be coming to Nintendo Online, because I was expecting them to now dole them out 3 at a time every month
Like they were
as a
doing with
reward.
NES.
Yeah.
They're dropping 20 tomorrow, or maybe today if you're listening to this on a Friday. They're dropping 20 at once. And then what?
They'll trickle out a few
Yeah,
more
I was going to say, I
every month.
assume we'll get a drip feed after this as well, but like the starting lineup here is like pretty hot. Casey, why don't you tell us what we got going on?
Do you guys want the whole list? I'll give you guys the whole list.
Sure.
Brawl Brothers, Demon's Crest, Joe and Mac 2, Lost in the Tropics, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Star Fox, Super EDF, Earth Defense Force, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, Super Puyo Puyo 2, Super Tennis, Breath of Fire, F-Zero, Kirby's Dream Course, Pilot Wings, Stunt Race FX, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Soccer, and The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
straight up
games.
There are
some of the
four
Holy
tens
crap.
in there. There are 4 tens
Yeah.
in there.
and there's 15 supers.
Yeah, that's true.
If you missed the
Too many-
SNES, that
oh
was
my
the big
gosh.
naming convention. No, this is awesome. We just got news of this. That's obviously going to be something that continues throughout the year. The NES games have been slowly dwindling down to nothing of worth, I would say.
Yeah.
I would say we got all the big stuff at the beginning. Now we're just getting 1 or 2. So I think they'll continue giving us 1 or 2 a month, add 1 or 2 Super Nintendo games a month. The other cool story here was that this is something that's free for people who are already subscribing. Which
They're
is
not raising the price
To
yet.
Nintendo Switch
not
Online.
yet.
Yeah.
I think they will when they start trickling at N64 next. And B, that they're making, definitely. It's happening.
Scoops.
It'll happen. Scoop will happen.
Yep.
You just got to get through these 20 games tomorrow first.
Beat them all, yeah, and then you'll unlock Nintendo 64.
Oh, gosh.
And we were sitting there being like, are they going to make an SNES Joy-Con? Sort of. They're making an SNES Bluetooth controller that you can buy as an exclusive option to Nintendo Switch Online.
Show of hands on the panel. Who will buy that controller for their SNES games?
Now raise your other hand if you don't need it. See, there we go.
I'm going to buy 4.
For
Yeah.
audio
Well,
listeners, we all raised every hand.
Yeah. And
So all of you got the NES controller.
Yes.
Well,
No.
there was something.
No?
I'll put it this way:
What?
there was something weird and novel about that because those were technically Joy-Con, so they slid
slid
into the
on.
rails on the side and had tiny shoulder buttons buried within them, and then can also be used as Bluetooth controllers because you couldn't play it sideways while clipped in,
Right.
because that would be the stupidest thing in human history. But the Super Nintendo one doesn't have rails that clip into the side because the Super Nintendo
actual
shoulder
controller.
buttons. Yeah, are important, and you'd be blocking them off. So this is an actual Bluetooth controller, something that we actually haven't seen from them, I believe, since like the ever. Have we seen it ever legally? I feel like they did one for the Wii. Maybe it's like a Nintendo.
Oh, God.
It
Yeah,
might have been like
maybe.
a Club Nintendo Japanese exclusive type thing. And there's companies like 8BitDo that are
Right.
making knockoff versions for
Yeah.
ages,
But-
roughly the same price.
What's notable is like it is the exact form factor, and unfortunately in the US, the US color scheme, which is hideous. With
I
the
like
stupid
it.
I love
purple.
the US
I
color
really
scheme.
like it.
I'm
Gray and purple.
going to pick up the Super Famicom ones, which have the colored buttons. The European ones too.
Yeah.
You have
When I was
better taste.
when I was 15, I made my entire room be purple and gray.
Look,
Super Nintendo.
Okay.
15-year-old girl. I
I'm
know.
not here to
Aesthetics.
argue about like the colors of the controllers, but I will say, like, having just spent 10 days in your hometown
Yep.
of Cologne, Germany, and eating your German food,
Yes.
I'm not entirely convinced that you guys have better taste than anybody else.
The food is delicious and you know it. It's not our fault. You keep on ordering pig parts exclusively.
Fair enough.
Kinda
Hope
like
you had that
having-
blood sausage. No, so the controller has the extra little shoulder buttons on it too.
Yes.
So it has
Yeah.
the big Super NES ones, and then it has the little ones in the middle.
Like
too.
the 3DS,
And it's available
the dual
for
shoulder buttons.
pre-order now for $29.99.
Yeah.
Which I will do, and there's a limit of 4 I think you can order. So they're being a little nicer now.
What I like about this lineup is there's some games on here that aren't on the SNES Classic, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So like you're getting games like Stunt Race FX, which isn't a great game, but kind of cool from like a collector's perspective. Breath of Fire is an awesome RPG.
Demon's Crest is a great Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
I've never
spin-off.
played Demon's Crest, so that's cool. Super Puyo Puyo 2, which I'm sure you're jazzed about. But it's nice because like I was afraid that they would put this collection out, or that the drip feed would just be games that I already have on my SNES Classic, which I already have hooked up to my TV like all the time.
So the one thing is they've got some Jalico junk in here. And like there are games that you probably couldn't release separately, and for people to get excited about. Brawl Brothers is not good, right?
Okay.
Streets of Rage knockoff, and we could do with without some of the others. But yeah, Breath of Fire, great long RPG. What's unique about Super Puyo Puyo 2 is that it never came out here, so it's actually a Japan only game that's getting released in the US, and it was a 4-player version of Puyo Puyo. So first time from the 16-bit days that you could use your multi-tap to play 4 players. So it's a really good version of the game.
Weren't you just talking about EDF on a previous episode? Wasn't that? Weren't you?
That
and Tom
wasn't me.
talking about?
No, Evil. Tom was talking about Evil.
Different game
I don't
entirely.
think so.
Sorry.
Out of this entire lineup, I want to know everyone's most favorite game from this lineup.
Probably Super Mario World or Link to the Past.
Yeah, Link to the
Those
Past.
are the easy ones. For
Yeah.
me.
But just from Nintendo, Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Mario World, Pilot Wings, F-Zero,
Kirby's Dream Course.
Mario Kart.
Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Kart, Star Fox. That's top
Kirby's-
tier. Like
Kirby's Dream Land
they're
3,
not going to
yeah.
have a ton left to
Right.
dole out. I mean, you've got your collection with Super Mario Brothers 3 for more Mario, but like there's not a ton of. These are like the top tier.
But
You
I think
skipped
also-
both of the Kirby games when you were reading that list just
yeah,
now
I
of
was only
Nintendo
going
games.
for AAA.
The cool thing is that a lot of these games haven't been portable for a long time on Nintendo handhelds.
True.
So this is pretty awesome. I mean, if you bring your Switch everywhere, then this is
Yeah,
a
I
really
mean,
cool thing.
Super Metroid was available on 3DS when it got SNES games. Yeah,
Apology Collection.
yeah. Super Mario World was on Advance, Game Boy Advance. Was it also on 3DS? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was also part
Yeah.
of the.
So yeah, it's awesome that you can take a lot of these on the road.
Yeah.
I think it's Star Fox is like. I mean, that game already makes me motion sick, so the idea of playing it in a car seems a little rough.
Yeah.
So the only thing I wished for, and obviously they don't have that, was a way to speed up the games. Like Stunt Race FX is actually, there's a good game at its core, but it's wrecked by the letterboxing and the frame rate. It's just too slow.
Yeah.
And it's a racing game with the same technology as Star Fox, so polygonal racing game with cars with googly eyes. It is almost unplayable.
While we're nitpicking the UI and such, I would love for them to A, let us do button mapping, which has been a huge problem on the NES Online games, and B, remove the HUD that says what all the buttons do.
Yes.
Right.
Because that's for stupid children.
Hopefully.
Distracting.
It also does include a rewind feature, which they conveniently displayed during Super Ghouls and Ghosts, to which Pear said, that's the game I need rewind for. So,
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that game is incredibly tough. It is nice to have those like little features in there, but I agree. It would be nice. I recently, last night, started playing Final Fantasy VIII on Switch.
Yep.
And the ability to like crank up the speed of which that game plays, or any of those like long RPGs, is like such a blessing. Like, it's awesome.
I kind of agree with them putting it all out at the same time, because you still need to have the subscription month by month to access these games anyway. So now it has something, it will presumably have something for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Like there will be something
there
on
you
this
go, a
list
little
that
donkey
makes you
quote
want it.
right there.
No,
What
the
is that?
the sort of perceived value of Nintendo
little something
Switch
for everybody.
Nintendo Switch Online has gotten better.
This is
and
many
better,
games.
right?
I'm not talking about one game.
Like
Gosh.
the value of this thing for $20 a year has gotten better and better. Nintendo Switch Online, as in playing video games online, has not.
Right.
So I'm glad that they're doing all this sort of supplemental stuff to, raise the value of all this. It's a lot of sort of like, oh, look over here because this is not that great.
Yeah.
Which is fine because like if you're there for this, like as a retro player, awesome. If you're there to play games online, it's still whatever.
Yeah, my objection is there's just so much out. There's so many games to play, and they're big, beefy games.
Yeah.
That just Astral Chain, Fire Emblem that just dropped. We've got Daemon X Machina coming and more. And then they're dropping these games. I like, for people who have never played them, I wish they had just gotten like A Link to the Past to actually like focus on that one game, beat it because it's freaking glorious, or Super Metroid.
Yeah, I mean, my friend was texting me like as soon as the SNES games got announced, and she's like, "Oh, I never had an SNES. Like, look at all these games that I can play now." And I was like, "You won't. Like, that's just
the
too
thing.
many
That's
games
a
at once."
lot.
Yeah.
And like, let's be honest, nobody's gonna play Joe and Mac and Brawl Brothers.
Like it's the same reason that I have Final Fantasy VIII on my Switch. Like I probably will never finish that game, but it's just nice to know that they're there and that you can play them on the go if you want to.
Yeah,
I do think, like, to your point, I'm sorry that it just to your point about SNES versus NES classics on or games on Switch. I think that the SNES has more better games, if that makes sense to you. Like there are more games that are of higher caliber than there are on the NES.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think that drip feed will be more games of a better quality.
I will agree that the NES has more bad games.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Is like
to build on top of that.
But I mean, also the last thing that I want to know is ActRaiser and Chrono Trigger when.
Yeah.
That was the one thing. There's no Square game in there. Obviously, Breath of Fire, I think, got distributed by Square over here, right? But
Published, but it's developed by
that's
Capcom.
a Capcom game in Japan.
Yeah.
So there's your entire like 4, 5, 6 Final Fantasies and Secrets of Mana and all of that.
Yes,
Chrono
that
Trigger
rules.
is still out there.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are still lots of great games, but not first. There's some good first-party games too, but we have the 4 greatest first-party games.
Final Fantasy VI,
And I'm sure
Final Fantasy VI is on SNES Classic, so there's still hope there as well.
I mean, I feel
that.
like Square can just release. This is bad, but they can release these games piecemeal and make a lot
Yep.
more money. They will.
could.
Yep.
They will.
And we could speculate about this all day and talk about Super Nintendo all day, but there are so many other things that came out in that Direct, including a bunch of things that are also out now that may prevent people from playing the Super Nintendo
That
games.
makes sense, yeah.
Including, man, I don't even know where to start. Banjo-Kazooie is available in Smash now.
Yeah, today.
And they
Checking
did.
if it's updated. Let me see.
Yeah, check.
Yeah.
We're literally recording this immediately after that Direct.
Yeah.
So Banjo-Kazooie, Sakurai actually talked about Banjo-Kazooie in a follow-up.
He did like a secret
Direct.
Yeah, that was what's like.
Which they announced a bunch more stuff in.
Yeah.
It's funny because there was like a whole other Direct after the Direct where they're like, we're going to talk about these 2 games, but then stick around. And it was just like an entirely new Direct from Sakurai.
It was like 20 minutes on what I thought would just be the minutia of the way Banjo and Kazooie beat people up, and then it got into a whole bunch of like bonus modes and details,
Home
and
run
costumes.
Home run
contest.
At the
is
very
back as a mode. Last
It's
big
multiplayer
update.
now.
Yep.
That was basically, he said, was a thank you for fans for making the game the best-selling game in the franchise history.
There's like a bajillion costumes coming for your Mii fighters.
Goemon, the mystical ninja is coming.
Sans.
Which is crazy. And
Undertale?
this one, Sans, like, actually looks like Sans.
Yeah.
And it's the gunner from the Mii costume, but...
Proto Man and Zero from Mega Man.
Team Rocket.
Team Rocket from Pokemon. Yeah, there's just like a bajillion like Mii fighter costumes. They're all 75 cents each, and I will buy them all.
Yeah, and those are available now as well, which is crazy. And we also learned the next character coming with the DLC Fighter Pass, which is Terry Bogard from Fatal Fury, which is coming in November.
Which you commented, the entire room at IGN just utterly muted.
Yeah.
Probably the least... Not even like
the smallest reaction from our crowd.
Nonplussed. I think it was the use I would just the word.
Yeah, I feel like all those Smash reveals have been like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" But this one was like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine."
I just never loved that franchise.
Me neither.
I wasn't an SNK kid, and like when I did play some of those fighters, I was like, meh.
I respect the decision as like an integral part of video game history, but I also don't care.
Yep.
I will say. Maybe my favorite Smash reveal.
Oh, the reveal trailer.
The reveal was
fantastic.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like it just in terms of the trailer itself, like the way that they were goofing on it. Like I really love that. But it's. I think we were all expecting. Like there was all this speculation that it was going to be like an under-requested female character, and I think we were all completely misled by that
Tracer
speculation.
Also having the Smash invitation letter fly by several female characters from this game, just for like a guy to be like, "Oh, it's me again."
Yeah.
It was kind of like, well, that's not.
But what about me?
Yeah,
the man.
Another man enters the Smash.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed because I saw some pictures of some SNS characters. Sorry, why did I say
SNK?
SNK.
SNM characters.
Including like characters in, like using mechs, like female characters in mechs, and some interesting design choices. But again, I'm not like a big Fatal Fury fan.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
It's I mean, they weren't kidding when they said it was going to be like a niche character. But I know
Sakurai is a really big fan. of
Yeah.
that series.
Yeah, and like I think
So-
there are plenty of people who die hard in the fighting game scene who have all
Are
this
very excited
nostalgia
for
for
this.
that franchise and are really excited about this, right?
And he's earned the right to do what he wants at this
said-
point.
I said SNS because I'm thinking Sword and Shield because I've been in Monster Hunter mode for 2 weeks.
But so
Probably coming to Smash
but
next.
but like, there was an immediate apology after revealing the character. Which
Oh, really?
Was
I missed that.
Which was, don't worry, there will be more DLC characters. Like basically saying, hey, this pack wasn't it. There's
Yeah.
more coming after.
There's
this
still
pack.
one unannounced with this
with
pack,
this pack.
but then there's more.
And then there's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I forget if they specified if that's part of the fighter pass or
No, it's
No,
it's
new
a
one.
separate pass.
Okay.
It'll be a separate pass. Yeah, it said so in the little text at the bottom of the screen. But
That's cool.
it's awesome. And like Sakurai closed out the whole Smash segment talking about his desires to like bring so many game worlds together and how this has never really been achieved in gaming before, like this many crossovers and stuff. So I'm excited to see who else they could possibly bring in and where else they reach. You know,
He put a little downer on it. He said that we'll probably never have this roster of characters again or
Yeah.
roster this big.
Yeah.
But
Which is
if they'll
fine.
keep on updating this game every couple of months over the lifespan of the Switch, that'd be really special.
Look, if there's
would keep
anything-
people going back and playing this game for longer.
If there's anything that the upcoming Pokemon game has taught us is that when you leave a bunch of characters behind for the new game, people have no problem with it.
sure,
That's right.
Everything will be fine.
And you will be happy.
No, I do want to make a quick shout out to the part in the post-direct where Sakurai was talking about Banjo-Kazooie, and he was like, "Oh, you can play these. You can't play this on Nintendo, but you can play it on Xbox." I know I shouldn't say Xbox in a Nintendo presentation, but Xbox.
Yeah, that was pretty
kind of
good.
And then
amazing.
everyone behind the camera started laughing.
Yeah, that's like a very sort of unprecedented thing, and to have this like frontward-facing, essentially corporate PR video give a shout out to a competitor's platform is very interesting.
I mean, look, they worked
friends.
with Microsoft to
friends
put
now.
Banjo-Kazooie on the platform.
They got
on,
Cuphead,
in
Ori,
Smash.
Minecraft.
Yeah, so
Forgot about Ori's like right around the corner.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. I love that.
plenty of time to play that game. Nothing. this
Nothing else on the horizon.
Better
utterly
together.
ridiculous
Yeah.
how many games are coming to this platform.
I mean,
right
we
now.
even have more that is out right now, including Super Kirby Clash, which is like a Kirby boss rush mode.
Just download it. Free to start.
okay.
Tom Marks stood up and shouted, "Oh, Kirby Monster Hunter!" But I don't know what that means. Why did he say
It's
that?
4 players versus 1 big boss.
Oh, okay.
It isn't.
His bow tie started spinning.
Yeah.
It was crazy. yeah.
flew into the
Yeah.
Flying away.
yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, it's interesting to see them experiment with like essentially not major, but pretty close to major first-party characters in free-to-start games.
Stop this. Pear hates Kirby. I'm just gonna say it.
I like Kirby.
Nah.
And there have been a lot of
Kirby.
free to start
Gotta
games.
be.
I like.
I mean, all of those like prologue demos, for example, like Daemon X Machina
Right.
is getting one, is technically a free to start game. Oninaki did that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Octopath Traveler did that. A lot of
Dragon
things.
Quest
Dragon
10?
Quest.
Yeah.
You can
Or
save.
11, I should
Yeah,
say.
11S.
Yeah.
A lot of games recently have a demo that can be transferred into.
I mean,
the
it's
full
the only way now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine picking up a demo like Dragon Quest, like especially when RPGs are notoriously slow to start. I can't imagine playing a 90-minute to 2-hour demo and
Doing
then
it all over.
Doing
No.
it all over again.
Yeah.
Like, what a waste of time that would be. I'm so glad the progression carries.
Because the other option would have been to get you a demo that drops you into the middle of the game where you can already do more, but then
Yeah.
that's
Pokemon-
just confusing. Right?
Pokemon Sun and Moon kind of did that, where they just gave you a standalone like 30, 40 minute
I don't
demo.
remember a demo for that
And
game.
you were able to unlock a bunch of stuff in the demo,
That carried
and then
over.
that transferred into the other one, including Ash Greninja. But anyway,
Greninja.
so also out today, which I am super excited about this. Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition is coming to Switch, but the
Yeah.
thing I'm most excited about is that there is shared cloud saves from Steam.
So
That's nuts.
Divinity Original Sin
awesome is
2, if
that?
you're not aware, is like a super awesome Western RPG.
Like Baldur's Gate kind of
yeah.
style,
In fact,
isometric, classic RPG.
that team is developing the new Baldur's Gate
3,
game.
Larian
yeah.
Studios.
Yeah, Larian Studios.
exact
so really
right
super
company.
cool, like really difficult Western RPG. Really excited to have this on my Switch.
Multiplayer.
It's the game that I easily equated to like D&D in video game form.
Yep.
Dungeons and Dragons in video game form.
You like
That's
D&D?
it. I know, like what is that? But
This is shocking news.
no, Divinity Original Sin 2 was great, and I think we gave it a 9.8.
9.6.
The
9.6,
Cloud Save
okay.
Steam thing, you went from being like, oh, yo, cool, I'm glad this game's coming, to being like, holy crap.
Yeah,
like, I will
because-
actually play this now.
Because I have a Steam save that I never finished. I'm at the very end of the game, and I just hate playing on PC so much that I just haven't wanted to finish it.
Wow, that's awesome.
My PC is awful. It's not. It's my fault. I understand. So
Well, let's see what it looks like if they do a nice job like, Blizzard did with Diablo porting
I was
this.
playing
Yeah.
on PC with the lowest settings possible, so it wouldn't crash. So I'm
you're
sure
gonna
it'll
love
run
It will
better on
look
the
great
Switch.
for you. Okay. Yep.
So I'm very much looking forward to this. And Deadly Premonition 2 also launches today.
Yeah.
So, do we not have Deadly Premonition?
Wait, no, the first one launches today,
Launches
right?
Wait,
Yeah.
the first one
The
launches
first one, they
today.
announced the second one coming, and then the first one drops today.
That's right.
Deadly
Sorry.
Premonition is like
Casey, I
a
wrote
really
that note down. I'm
weird,
stupid.
like almost like Alan Wake style game that is also a ripoff of Twin Peaks. I've never played it. It's very, very strange, I hear. It's Alana Pierce's favorite game of all time because she's a very weird lady. But yeah.
I never heard of that. I've
Alana
heard of
Pierce, she
Deadly-
used to work here.
Yeah, who is that? No,
Alonzo Franks.
I didn't know that was her favorite game. So that is everything that is out now, which kind of made us go, "What? No," because we weren't able to get any hands-on time with any of it
Right.
before coming on the show to talk to you guys about it. So I hope you've enjoyed it in the last 24
I've been
hours.
playing under my desk the whole time.
Oh yeah,
No, it's not true.
I don't know, Brian. He's not. But they also talked about a bunch of other games coming in 2019, including some rumors that have been going around about Overwatch, which turned out to be true.
Yeah, we
Worst
found out
kept
about this
secret.
through a Nintendo Switch case that leaked on Amazon.
Yeah.
Which was our first time seeing the Overwatch. And we were like,
We
you
talked
know what,
about
we're
it a
just
lot
making
last week,
case.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this was supposed to cap the presentation. I think this was their one more thing at the
too.
end. It got leaked, so they moved it all the way to the front and
Yep.
just dropped you right in.
That makes
Because the presentation fizzled at the end. Like
Yeah.
you could tell there was something missing. And this would have been a really cool surprise if nobody had suspected it.
Right.
Major title like that. Yeah, that's a great
That's a good
game.
assumption.
Obviously, that was our game of the year, right?
2016.
At one
Casey,
point.
you pointed out this is out the exact same day as Witcher 3, which
Yep.
is just insane.
You got two ports to choose from. Very different. I pick The Witcher 3. Both are coming on October 15th.
Oh, also, did we mention it has motion controls?
Oh yeah, that's
Yep, you can do
Yeah,
this.
that's a
Platoony.
thing that you can do.
do the
with
little-
Really?
Platoony, yeah.
Overwatch.
Some Overwatch players in our office actually seemed very excited about that.
Yeah, I think
So-
it is the superior way to aim.
I don't
In a-
know.
in an
I've
FPS?
never
I disagree. Yeah.
I've never felt like that. I thought it was so confusing.
I like to use the
Splatoon.
sticks.
You get
Yeah,
shot a
it's-
lot in Splatoon and wonder why?
I mean, I haven't
we're
played
not using
Splatoon in like
motion
18
controls?
months.
Because all
but-
of us can aim.
Yeah, I haven't played Overwatch since 2017.
Okay, fine. It is better.
play Overwatch infrequently. It's still very good. Yeah.
A lot of people do. So if you haven't played it, it is still a really good game. So if you haven't played it, you should definitely play it on the Switch. Also coming in 2019 is Return of the Obra Dinn. Tom gave this a 9.2. This is coming out.
Mark's
in the
lost
fall.
his mind when
Yeah.
the black and white dot picture stylings appeared on the screen.
This is
Yeah.
one of those games last year that he was trying to champion very hard in our Game of the Year awards.
Yeah.
This is the entire game looks like it was filmed with a Game Boy camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got, like, really
It's
awesome
really
art
cool.
style.
It's like akin to a point and click adventure, except you have free range of motion, but you're basically trying to solve a mystery about what happened to the Obra Dinn, which is a ship that just mysteriously reappears in a port.
Yeah.
But supposedly like the time bending mechanics and stuff, like I haven't had an opportunity to play it because I don't play on PC, but I'm so stoked that this is coming to Switch because so many people that played it last year in the office were like, incredible. Like I've never played a game like this.
And
Yeah.
the music is amazing in this game too. So I think people will dig that one.
Yeah.
And we also finally learned a little bit more about working title Town from Game Freak, and it's now called Little Town Hero, and the music is composed by the Undertale person Toby Fox,
That's right.
and it's coming out on October 16th. And
Yeah.
I'm surprised there isn't more like fanfare around this game. It was kind of treated like all of the other ones.
I mean, we've only seen it once before, right?
Yeah.
We haven't seen it since the direct that was announced.
It's one of those games that has lingered for a while.
Yeah.
And like, Game Freak, they've got a knack for interesting game design, whether it's making Pokemon games or, horse racing or what have you.
Yeah.
And like I was looking forward to this one, so I'm curious to play it.
It does kind of strike me as like baby's first RPG. It does look a little like
I don't think it will be.
you got to use
think so?
ideas. That's the most.
I don't have very many of those.
They
So.
always have deceptively simple like style.
Yeah.
You know. So let's see.
I'm interested.
Yep.
Very interested.
And if they get Toby Fox to do music, that
It's pretty
It
cool.
looks cute as hell.
And we also learned, speaking of cute, we've also learned that the Link's Awakening amiibo will let you transfer your dungeons from Switch to Switch. So you can kind of like how you could save things on your amiibo with Smash and bring it with you.
I feel like we haven't talked a lot about that dungeon creator mode on the show, and
know.
like it looks super cool. Dornbush just played it at
Yes.
PAX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it yet, we posted a video where Jonathan and Bill from Nintendo play the Dungeon Creator mode for each other. Very poor performance from both.
What?
They were terrible. They kept getting hit.
Really?
Yeah, maybe they were just nervous.
Brian, why
in each
weren't you
other's
there?
presence.
I was
Save
supposed
them.
to do that video, but I was on
Bill.
vacation.
No, but it looks really fun. You can arrange all the
It's
dungeons.
the only time anybody's ever cried about being on vacation.
I know. It was like, what a terrible choice.
You can arrange the dungeons in any kind of way, connect them, and then you can add modifiers to the stage.
Right.
So what Jonathan did with one of the dungeons was to add falling bombs from the top, and like it actually kind of helped Bill because it took out some of the enemies as well. But like you can do some really fun stuff with this.
yeah,
One.
this will be cool.
So it's not a Zelda maker; it's a Zelda arranger.
Close enough.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm into
pretty
it.
neat.
And that amiibo is just
Game
the
looks
cutest.
great,
Even if you
too.
don't use it for anything, he's such a good boy.
Yeah, I
So
buy
cool.
all the Zelda amiibo. Like I don't collect all the amiibo, but I buy the Zelda amiibo, and I'm very stoked for that little guy.
It's very cute. We also got Doom 64 is coming to the Switch on November 22nd this year.
Great.
I've never played that game.
It's good.
We should
True
play it.
fact. No one has.
I have. I think I may have reviewed it
fair.
for IGN when it came out. Yeah, obviously, look, it's like when you step back into classic games, you will sorely miss the ability to look around. You can't aim up and down and all that kind of stuff. Remember that?
Yes.
And there was a thing left and right. But like this was a really cool take on Doom. Like it had this atmospheric, like creepy soundtrack. It had they did a lot with color blending in the graphics, so it looked actually way more colorful than any of the other versions of Doom. It's a really good. It's a beloved, great remix of the original Doom.
Cool.
Doom 64 joins Turok 1 and 2 as weird Switch ports I didn't expect to see on
2019.
Switch.
Yeah.
Well, and it
before
hasn't-
Write that
any of
news
the big
article.
ones.
60
Before Ocarina of Time or anything.
64 hasn't been on a Nintendo platform since the N64. It's appeared elsewhere, but this is
The
the
number
first time it's
64?
back. Yes,
Doom
the number
64.
64 has not appeared anywhere. Zachary Ryan.
Anyway, enough about Doom. Let's talk about Pokemon.
Oh God.
Wait, you skipped this other one.
What
Rogue
did I
Company.
say? That's out in 2020. It was in the wrong
Oh,
category.
I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
totally
think a
threw
lot of
off your
people would
mojo.
skip that one.
Rogue
Yeah.
Company is coming in 2020.
I only reminded you because I just wanted to do a goof about how that's all we have to say about that game.
Yeah, that was a video game that's coming to Nintendo Switch in 2020. I
Cool.
want to be more excited for it, but I just
Well, look, I mean, getting new IP and not just re-releases and established franchises is kind of cool. So let's see what happens. But I'm not excited for it.
See, you know what we are excited about?
Not yet.
Curry rice in Pokemon.
Oh, God.
And the 100 different
Just in
types of
general, I'm
curry
excited
rice.
about curry rice.
No, honestly, they said curry rice. I'm like, man, I'm really hungry, and I really could really use some curry rice right now. And now I'm here and not eating curry rice.
Watching.
our whole office was flanked between Casey and Miranda Sanchez, just squealing about this game.
It has over 100 different curry types. You know, the one with the little sausages cut into octopuses, or the either one with the little korokke, or the ones with
See,
the little.
Miranda is super excited because you can cook the curry. And I think one of her favorite passion projects is making recipe and cooking pages for our wikis.
Well,
They always,
yeah, that makes sense.
They always
okay.
end up doing surprisingly well. Like
Yeah.
the cooking page she made for Breath of the Wild, like super well, and it was
Right.
really pretty, and she worked really hard on it.
You guys were really happy over this curry thing, and then there was some like pet your favorite Pokemon mode or
Yeah, so
something.
you can
can
go to
tickle 'em with
camp
the thing.
at any time. So I don't.
I wrote the notes. I don't know what was happening.
You don't.
I
It's
literally
really
wrote-
funny.
I have
You
no
can
idea
camp
what's
at-
happening.
You can camp at any time at Pokemon Camp and hang out with the moms and tickle them and stuff. And I don't know what is happening.
That's what I wrote, yeah.
Almost verbatim, Brian Altano quote right there. But it looks like it's a feature where you can interact with other trainers as well and interact with other trainers' Pokemon. And one of the things they said is that you're going to want to play with your friend's Pokemon. Maybe you'll get something. I don't know.
We're all going to let that sit right
Leave me
there.
alone.
No one's going to make a dirty joke.
Stop
I
it.
know,
gonna
I
move
know.
on.
Everyone does.
We're
That is
adults.
okay. But they showed throwing balls and they would fetch the balls.
My favorite thing. My
can
favorite
cut
thing
that.
about
I'm just taking notes.
My favorite thing about being on this show with Brian specifically is like any time that we both hear something that might be misinterpreted as like a little blue, I get a look out of the corner of his eye like, are we going to do this? Is this what's going to happen?
Dude, you should have. You were missed when Casey did the whole episode about the
Alchemy.
Yeah, the creamy Pokemon that gets excited. And
I texted you that day because I listened to that episode and like 5 minutes in, I was like crying, laughing because I could just see his dumb face. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
we started that
derail.
conversation in the lunchroom, and I was like, we can't talk about this here, Casey.
Oh my god.
But speaking of Pokemon you can eat, they also announced a new Pokemon called Poltegeist, which is right here in this teapot.
So get it, guys.
You can eat a teapot?
It
Like
is
a teapot?
I think you mean drink.
So it's a ghost that is made of tea that hides and possesses
again.
hotels' teapots.
What the...
It's like
They're really running out of
Ghostbusters
ideas over
homage,
there.
You know, the hotel ghost Slimer thing.
They also announced a new Pokemon called Cramorant, which is based on the real
There's
animal.
just a bird.
The cormorant, yeah. But they showed it, and both Miranda and I were like, oh, it's a bird. It's literally a freaking bird.
That's just a bird.
It's a cormorant, and it's
Yeah.
got the fish stuck in its beak the whole
Yes.
time.
Oh,
Poor
really?
thing.
Is it
not
fish
the whole
alive?
time, but it has a new, I wrote this down. It has a new ability called something Gulp Missile.
Yeah.
I don't know how to activate it exactly.
I'm gonna leave that one there, too.
That whole thing. But I think when he goes underwater or something, he gets a fish, and then he can shoot it like a missile at his opponent.
Oh, so
As
it's
one
like
is wont to
stuck in
do.
his throat, like the cormorant does. I just can't,
So
you guys.
we were talking about this. There are in the world there are cormorant fishers who have the bird on a leash. It's a water bird with a long neck.
Yes.
And they have a cormorant on a leash, and they put a ring around its neck,
So it can't swallow
it can
the fish.
catch a fish for them, but it can't swallow him.
it.
So they grab the bird and then pull the fish out.
God, that
And
sounds
so
like some
Cruel.
sort of
That's why
tragic
this
Greek hell.
That's why this poor guy's got a fish in his
Yeah.
mouth the whole time.
That's an awful thing to do.
Yeah, I
Art
thought so,
imitating
too,
life.
when I read about
They
that.
give
in
him
a
one in
children's
the
book.
end, like when he's done with his job. He gets a
Yeah,
fish.
he gets
Really?
a fish.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's weird.
It's not the
It's in his
worst thing
contract.
you can do to animals, I guess.
That's right.
Like force them to fight for your own.
Oh yeah,
pleasure.
there's that.
But you can also customize your trainer with different hairstyles.
Oh, yeah,
and
you guys
hats.
were going berserk.
That was
And there was-
another
well,
weird
it-
reaction from you guys.
There was one trainer that like comes running onto the screen when they're talking about character customization, and it just looked like Miranda Sanchez.
just
It
Miranda,
just
yeah.
looked just like her. It was so funny.
You can change the gloves and the hats and the hairs and the shirts.
Well, because
and
you have
such.
outerwear as well, which is kind of new, and the different variety of characters that they were showing were very different compared to previous games. So that's why we're excited, and the fashion in this game looks especially great.
Do you think they'll sell you costumes?
I hope not, but there
Oh,
was
God.
a shirt. There was a
I
shirt
liked-
with an Arcanine on it,
I liked all the costume stuff in Sun and Moon quite a bit.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. So
Yep.
yeah.
and we heard. I think it was from Janet. I don't know. Someone hoping that you could actually see your hairstyle before getting your hair done.
Oh.
And I said, I hope not, because that wiki page did very well for us. So,
Nice.
keep it hidden until you pay for it. It's fine with me. But so that's about all about Pokemon. It was a lot of little things that I guess weren't super big, like nothing that really changes attitudes. But I'm very glad to see all of the customization come back.
Yeah.
Given that they advertised it as like this direct was going to be about Luigi's Mansion and Pokemon, there wasn't really a ton about Luigi's Mansion.
It was
just
quick, yeah.
yeah, just a new couple of new modes got announced.
Variety is awesome
Yeah.
in the game, yeah.
Super cool. But then the Pokemon segment, when it was done, I turned to you because, like, as I do with all things Pokemon, I try to gauge my interest in it based on your reaction, and you're like, it was fine. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I think going into this, I would have guessed they would have done 15 minutes of new stuff on Pokemon.
Me too.
15 on Luigi.
And then that montage at the end or
10
something.
minutes of
Yeah.
Overwatch.
And they kind of just like speed run Zelda and Luigi, did a little bit on Pokemon, and then it was just like almost an E3 size direct.
Yeah. Pokemon is out in November. And at this point, like, I'm good to not see any more of that.
Yeah.
Like,
Same.
I'm cool
Same.
on that. And, like, I hope that they clam it up.
I completely agree. What else did we learn about Luigi's Mansion?
They showed just the different areas. There's basically it's basically like the Tower of Terror, but with the entire Disneyland in it.
Yeah.
So it has like a pirate themed restaurant with like a haunted shark and all of that kind of stuff. Just a variety. Like one of my issues with these themed games, like same with Super Mario Sunshine, is that the levels all feel the same because you don't have like the snowy mountain. You have everything like in one place. And this game does not suffer from that because they they really mixed it up. All the crazy stuff they put in it. Just
So stoked for
looks
that
so
game.
fun to explore.
Yeah.
And that was something else that
looks
Jonathan
pretty.
Dornbush was able to go hands-on with co-op when he was in PAX. So also look out
nice.
for that on IGN.com.
And they announced, they did announce the 8-player mode, right? Yeah. So 8-player Luigi's Mansion multiplayer mayhem.
Yeah.
So much.
Not co-op,
And
but versus crazy.
Obviously, like some smaller things that they talked about as well, also coming out this year. New themes are coming to Tetris 99 and an exclusive mode for people who are good at the game.
Yeah, if you've
What does that
gotten,
mean?
if you've gotten like first place in one of the hardest modes, you can play this new mode. Which we were looking around and we are like, no one's done that. And I believe somebody said that no one in the office has actually done that yet.
Yeah.
IGN, we're bad at games.
Oh no!
Speak for yourself.
Don't
Brian.
isolate that.
I'm just kidding. But they're also making a retail version of this game in case you want to buy it, even though
September
it's
6th.
free.
Yeah,
Which is
Friday.
interesting. But it does have paid modes,
Well,
which
if
I
you
paid for.
don't have Nintendo Switch Online, you either have to get Nintendo Switch Online or buy it. So if you really hate online services,
Curious what the price tag is on that physical version.
Probably $20.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out on the 6th, which is in 2 days. But one day, if you're watching the day it comes out.
Time is a flat circle.
It's true.
We also learned a little bit more about Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. It has a single-player mode, and the whole story is based off how they all get sucked into a game based on the Olympics, which is the most meta thing I've heard
Very
in my
Smash
life.
It's
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous, and I love it.
Yep.
They've
And
also
if-
showed more of the like
the 8-bit,
8-bit stuff.
16-bit stuff.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I have not been interested in this game at all. I haven't been interested in this franchise ever. This is the first time I've kind of perked up and been like, "Oh, that actually looks really cool."
Yeah, Sam was so excited about it. He stood up and he's like, "Whoa, look
It
at all
looks-
that!" His mustache started to spin around all
Yeah.
crazy.
He
Whoa.
flew up into the rafters with Tom. Tom was already up
We
there.
have to stop wearing tiny helicopters to work.
The retro stuff looks really cool. It looks just like classic track and field.
I really like the
mashing.
juxtaposition of it too. Like I love like 8-bit Mario next to
Yep.
16-bit Sonic, and like I think it's really funny.
Really good idea that they did
They're
that.
actually really fun little mini games, and I
Mm-hmm.
always enjoy playing them with friends. Also, like Brian, we played that at E3 together.
That's right, we did. Oh, that's right. That was
Yeah.
really funny. I also did. I did an interview with the director of the game at E3, which is one of the weirdest interviews I've ever done because I was like, "Hey, if there's a horse in this game, but Yoshi's also kind of a horse, is that weird?" And he was like, "I don't want to talk about that." So go look that up.
You can't talk about fake horses riding real horses, Brian.
So we're not invited back, is what you're saying.
No.
Oh no!
No, it
Thank
was
you.
fine. It was totally
All
fine.
right.
So we also
He
learned,
laughed a bunch. So
Yep.
good. We also learned Starwise. That's my new name, Starwise. Call me that from now on. Star Wars Jedi Outcast 2 comes to Switch on the 24th of September.
yeah, that's awesome.
great.
That is a classic action game I was not expecting to see on Switch.
No.
But as for the theme of our April Fool's video of port everything to Switch, everything's
Everything's
coming.
coming.
Did we have
it's
that
all
one in
here.
our-
Yeah.
April Fool's
Like,
video.
it's amazing how much of that has come true so far. Yeah, this is a really cool game, so
Yeah,
I'm excited
totally.
to play it.
Yeah, and we also learned about some Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Rogue, I can't talk right now, are coming to Switch.
That's notable because Black Flag is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I love that game. I think Odyssey has eclipsed it as my favorite game in the series, but Black Flag has the superior ship combat, pirates and cannon fire and all of that. It's a really, really good game. I'm looking forward to replaying it on the go. And Rogue is kind of underappreciated. You know, it like took a bunch of stuff from Black Flag, but put it basically in the snow and the icy waters, and you can catch whales.
Black Flag is definitely the Assassin's Creed that I think gets some of the most love from The Office that isn't one of the more modern Assassin's Creeds like Odyssey. But so that's all in 2019. There's still
That's
so
cool.
much.
I mean, like,
And
did
we've
you guys
gotten
expect
so
all this
much.
Oh,
junk?
hell no. That's so crazy.
That's cool.
Like, it's really funny because, first of all, this direct was one of the closer directs that we've seen. You know, like the Nindies Direct happened. Well, they're not called Nindies anymore, but the Indies Direct happened like right before Gamescom. It's only been a couple of weeks, and then we got this full blown like AAA Direct.
Yeah.
Which is like, I love these rapid fire directs where they're just like, and this is coming, and this is coming. Like we get a couple of those every year, and like
All of our news rundown so far too is essentially negating the montage they threw in the middle of this thing too.
Yeah, we're not
It was
even
all news
talking
we knew
about that.
about, but it was just like release dates, but you knew about them. And here they are again. It was just like this. I wish we could split this library in half with the Wii U because that would have made that life like very different.
Jeez.
The amount of like like the droughts we had there versus like what we're dealing with now is kind of amazing. It's night and day.
Flash floods.
And there's still some long rumored games that are not being talked about, which bodes well, hopefully, for the first quarter of next year. So,
because 2020 was looking pretty light, especially when comparing it to what 2019 has been.
Yeah.
And we got some announcements, but I didn't expect any 2020 announcements going in because Nintendo specifically said this was going to be about 2019.
Nintendo's got to bring some big guns next year because it's a console transition year. Like we will be getting new consoles, and Nintendo's gonna need some top tier games out there.
Breath of the Wild 2 is next year.
Yeah, something like
right?
that.
I think I bet you Breath of the Wild 2 is next holiday to compete with those other systems.
And
that
Super
we
Mario
like.
Sunshine remake.
And Animal
Not
Crossing.
the same magnitude, but I like where your head's
I
at.
think that's going to be a big one for people.
Have you seen people still?
This is my friend Flood.
They were saying since the Gamescom stream had a watermelon in it, that was another clue. For
Yeah, we talked
Sunshine.
about that at Gamescom, and I still think you're nuts for
No,
that. so.
it was a different thing. It wasn't just the tweet. It was the Gamescom stream. Like they brought a watermelon out to their live stream.
It
I don't
turns out
know.
Nintendo fans are insane.
But if they
present
teased,
company included.
do you think they teased that far ahead? Then I figure they would have teased it for this direct.
It's a wonderful summer treat that is also featured heavily in that game that's definitely coming to Nintendo Switch in 2020.
Yeah,
Mr. Positivity
in
over
the
here.
summer.
I
They
love
were
it.
too late for the summer. You'll get it next year. Don't worry.
There we
But they did confirm a few things for 2020, including an HD remake of Trials of Mana, which is coming out April 24th of 2020. That game looked really fun.
It looked great. There was a lot of, just like a lot of big boobs in that game.
I was wondering. I saw you.
It was
stumble,
really
and I was
weird. Yeah.
Thinking what word you were going to
Well,
use.
I
While he was looking at you.
I was looking at you because I was hoping you were going to back me up. But now I realize that I painted myself into a corner talking about the boobs on a
I actually
Nintendo
like
show.
watching you
Goodbye.
talk about the boobs.
That's really weird. I didn't actually notice any in it.
I
thought
didn't
you were
either.
gonna say
I didn't notice
literally
that at
the
all.
See? I don't know what he's talking about.
Have I been desensitized to anime boobs?
Maybe.
Yes.
No, I think Zach's just special. He's got like
No, like
Hones in on that
Brian and I both like. There was one shot in that trailer where Brian and I both were like, "Okay," it's like, "All right, rein it in."
Yeah.
But that game has not been localized for the States.
Yeah.
So it is an awesome opportunity for people that have not had a chance to play Trials of Mana, and it looks fantastic. Like it reminds me aesthetically a lot of Dragon Quest XI, the way that those characters have sort of like a plastic kind of look to them, except the boobs are way bigger.
And just to be clear, there's the release of that game in the US localized as part of the collection.
Yes,
and then
you're
there's the standalone, which is a full-fledged.
I misspoke. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also, so this is actually a Wii U game, which I didn't know, I completely forgot existed until they brought this up. But Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp FE Encore, so Fire Emblem Encore. And it is a Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem mashup game that originally came out in 2015 for the Wii U.
Nobody bought it.
Andrew Goldfarb and I did.
Andrew Goldfarb bought it.
It looks, so I guess you're a high schooler who is a pop star, but also has a persona who is a Fire Emblem character.
Yes.
Am I? Yeah.
You're
Okay. That's
right
the game.
on there, yeah.
That sounds awesome.
That's a walk.
And like
Sounds really cool.
Were you a big fan?
I played for about probably a dozen hours and dropped off.
You're into the Persona verse and the Megami Tensei verse.
I've actually never played
not
a Megami
the
Tensei
Tensei
games.
stuff,
Yeah, I've only played Persona. Andrew really loved this game. Yeah. He was very excited about this game in particular. He championed, and we talked about this game last week because somebody wrote in and it said like, "Hey, do you think now's the time to bring back this?"
Did we say no?
Weird niche. No, I said yes.
Yeah.
But also, like, obviously he was right because they've got it in the works.
It is
That
the
guy's
right
having
time.
the best day of his life.
He did a backflip, full on.
Yeah.
Started flying.
Like,
Whoa!
Fire Emblem interest is at an all-time high right now,
True.
so that's a smart game to kind
And
of follow
Persona
up when
interest is
people
at an
are-
all-time high too.
When
So
people have finished sipping tea and murdering each other.
But no, I wonder if they're going to add some Fire Emblem Three Houses characters.
they said that they were adding a new song, but they didn't really do any. Like, they didn't talk about any other additions or fixes, so I wonder if that's like the only thing. It's just the
It's
new-
not a DX, it's an encore.
Encore.
But hopefully there's something.
which is a better title than I would have thought that they were going to give it
Yeah.
because it's already called
It's already
Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE Sharp Encore.
It's basically
Sharp FE.
It's actually Japanese.
FE
If you
sharp?
if you translate that, it translates to "Please don't buy me." It's just such a bad title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is great because it takes a
Game's
lot of
good,
stuff
though.
that I don't care about and just shoves it all together in one place.
I'm trying to think of
You
a
have
better
no
title.
heart.
Let's all brainstorm titles during the show, and at the end, I'll ask everyone what's the title. For that. So we
I'll
also,
give you mine right now. It's
what
called
is it?
Literally Anything Else.
Tokyo pop stars and Fire Emblem characters
Sure.
together finally.
Sure. Great.
That's not a better title, to be completely honest. Honestly, I think it might be much worse.
I think you're right, Zach. Anyway, we learned some more about Animal Crossing, but it was stuff we already knew about.
Yeah, I was talking to Miranda about this because she did some pretty deep dive preview coverage at E3 that she updated our wiki on, and she said the new stuff in this like sort of breakout trailer of like little details of moment to moment life in Animal Crossing is that there's wind now, which is cool, and that also you can craft more stuff than she thought we could craft, which is
They kind of doubled down on showing some of the differences to the previous games, that you can put your furniture outside and all of that.
The cool new thing is you can eat an apple, which will then give you the strength to lift an entire tree that you can move anywhere. So instead of chopping down a tree and then replanting it somewhere else and waiting 3 days or going into your system settings and changing the clock, cheating,
move it.
Just pick it up and move it.
We didn't get a good sense for how deep the crafting system would be, whether you can actually create a lot of different tools from it, but that would match that whole kind of like stranded on an island genre setup. So
You said you weren't crazy about the art in this game.
there were a couple of shots where I was like, it doesn't look as good as I was hoping for.
He said it looks
Yeah,
bad.
It looks
fine.
generic to
Yeah,
me. Like
I
it
think
doesn't. It's as if it doesn't want to commit to a style other than we'll take the previous games and we'll just bend the world just a little bit more. Like that.
It's definitely clean, which I appreciate.
More movement in the leaves and that kind of stuff. So there's definitely a little bit more life to the plants and everything.
Did you want something like hyper realistic?
No, I was just hoping it would. I was hoping it would do a little bit more.
It's like a wolf in clothes. He's like, ah.
How awful would it?
couch.
How awful would a hyper realistic Animal Crossing be? It would be
want that so
terrifying.
bad.
I bet you do,
I don't
you
want a
weirdo.
realistic style. I want something playful. Nintendo's done some really cool styles on their games. It would just make collecting the items a little bit more interesting because everything is going to look very similar.
That's actually a really interesting point because Nintendo, Zelda is probably the most obvious example, but even Mario has gone through some like pretty serious iterative changes in the style and tone of like the graphic design.
Kirby too.
Yeah. But Animal Crossing has largely remained the same since the GameCube. All the Animal Crossing games look very similar. So
They they play a little bit more with perspective, but I don't think it looks bad. I just was hoping a little bit more.
Yeah.
you don't like Kirby either. Unbelievable.
Kirby,
I agree with Pear on this
the
one.
vacuum cleaner.
So at the very end of the Direct, we got one more surprise, and I think you guys called it. I know, it's a surprise. You guys called it. They moved Overwatch to the front, but we got the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which was the 2012 Wii game, and that's coming to Switch in 2020.
Yeah.
I welcome this because the only other way to get this, you can play it on 3DS, but if you want to play it on the Wii, it's like $9.
Can you play it on 3DS? Wasn't the 3DS version like pretty bad?
The new
3DS?
New was good. The regular didn't run it well.
Okay.
Got real
You could
hot.
only play it on the new 3DS.
Oh, that was. I thought there was. I thought we had. Scores for it.
That was that game that you could only play on the new 3DS.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I see. That was. Which one was the one?
You're thinking of Hyrule Warriors.
That was terrible.
Oh, that's
on
what
the
it
3DS.
was. That's what. Okay,
Yeah.
you're right.
I don't know
All right.
how well
Yep.
this runs on the new 3DS. I have not played it on the 3DS.
Right.
but-
Regardless of how it runs on the 3DS, this is an interesting game to have in the Switch pantheon, especially considering the sequels are on Switch.
It's an interesting announcement. I didn't expect it. It felt too fresh still.
Well, so there's a long backstory about this game coming to the States because it was long delayed before it finally made it to the States, and Nintendo fans were kind of like clamoring for it to come to the Wii originally.
Project Rainfall was the name of the protest.
Yeah.
It was basically like, bring it here.
So it's a nice bit of history to have on the Switch, but it's also a sort of a weird game to have close a Direct where there is like so much like major announcements and big releases coming. Like, and maybe this is a huge release, like a huge deal to a sect of fans of the
for
show.
sure.
Like we know that there's a ton of fans that were angry at us around Xenoblade when we didn't have a ton to say about it, but it's just a franchise that I've missed, So
Yeah,
Yeah,
look,
I mean,
it's very different from any of the other games on the list here.
I personally, I would have, if I was them, which I'm not, I would have closed with Super NES games online.
Yeah, me too.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
To be like 20 of the greatest games in Nintendo history are out
right now.
Yeah.
Like that's the big one.
They could have done the everything is coming to Nintendo Switch kind of trailer, just going like,
Just snap
one
through
more,
all of
one
them.
more. Here's
I hope
Zelda,
they
here's
steal that.
Metroid, here's that.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this is a really welcome surprise, and it shows they're dipping into consoles older than the Wii U, and I'm sure we'll see more of that.
So that was all of the news from the 40-minute Nintendo Direct, plus the additional 20 minutes of Sakurai talking about Smash. There was a lot, but there's still a little bit more news, including one thing, and I understand why you guys didn't say anything because I wasn't here last week, but Pokemon Masters came out last week for this.
We ignored it because you weren't here.
We talked a little bit about it at the Gamescom episode.
Yeah, we did, which is fine. So that's out.
That's all we're
the
going to
news.
say about that
That's all
game.
we're gonna say
Are you
about
playing or what?
I haven't played it yet.
Okay,
Like I
there we
said, I've just Monster Hunter.
Okay.
Monster Hunter World Iceborne is out on Friday, and I've been working on the wiki. It's not on Nintendo. I'm sorry. Anyway,
Go read that wiki. Read that review too.
Yeah.
These people worked very hard on that.
Untitled Goose Game is launching on September 20th.
Finally.
Finally,
Yes.
we finally get a release date.
I hope that
They
game
have
is
a
more than
trailer.
just a joke.
I mean,
I hope it's exactly a joke.
Yeah, me too. I hope
Well,
it's exactly what it looks
I
like.
played it a little bit when it was unfinished, and it was just
Are you sure
Yes.
that wasn't Unfinished Swan?
silly. No, it was unfinished
boy.
Goose Game.
What?
It was definitely unfinished Goose Game. It's a fun little stealth game with just the joy is all in the interactions between this hateful goose and the poor farmer.
He's a little sneaky, ornery goose.
He is.
That goose.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a good time.
and we also learned that Puzzle Quest HD Remaster is coming this month on the Switch.
That's beautiful.
I wish it was Puzzle Fighter HD.
When, that was announced like this morning, right?
Yep.
Puzzle Quest HD?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Should have put that in the direct.
Yeah, why didn't they? And I'm going to skip this one, but the next one, Reggie is going to teach at Cornell University, which is kind of crazy. But I've heard of a lot of famous people teaching after.
Cornell, yeah.
That's not how
Or-
you be
Not at
retired.
Cornell, but-
You'd be retired by staying home playing Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, so if you are at Cornell and you are going to attend these lectures, we want to hear from you. Please let us know. We want a review.
I'm very
We want a
interested.
scored review of Reggie's lecture.
He will be the business school's inaugural leader in residence. So
That's so
he'll
good.
meet with students that lead discussions centered around leadership, conscious capitalism, and service. And his first lecture will be on October 21st, and it's open to the public.
Yeah,
And
So
remember,
go get in line now.
if he does a roll call, do not say your name
that's right.
because you're going to take it.
Yeah, the name of his lecture is Not My Problem. I was
Not
thinking,
my problem.
I was thinking, I would love that if you said that there was a student who like didn't have his homework. I was like, man, I really wish we could go see this, but then I realized that's a school you have to get into.
Yeah.
That's-
I don't
And the
know
first,
if
the
it's
first lecture is open to the public.
oh, free to start?
I would love for you to go to a college campus and
so
like,
We have to send
That would be
someone.
good.
Try to blend in and pretend it like in all those movies where the guy.
What's up,
is
fellow
old,
kids?
But he's like, hey guys, you want a burrito?
I just have a backwards hat on. Perfect. Nailed it. I think.
With a little Poochie name tag.
But I know a bunch of stuff dropped with that Nintendo Direct, but there were regularly scheduled games that are also out this week, including Spyro Reignited Trilogy, which is out now. It got an 8.5. Have you guys played Spyro?
No,
Nope.
I
Jam?
played the next one though.
Play the next one, River City Girls.
Yes,
Which
this game is awesome.
The teaser trailer for that is awesome, and if you haven't seen it, you should go watch that. And that's
Yeah.
out.
So this is River
Right now.
City Ransom?
This is Way Forward's gender swapped like tribute to River City Ransom, where it takes place in a high school, and the girls get their boyfriends kidnapped, and they're kind of like whatever about it, but also it's a good excuse to kick some ass. The art is really awesome. The combat's super fun. It's
the art looks amazing.
The bosses are hard. Like they're legit hard. The first person, like one of the first bosses you fight in this game is like this like tough as nails like female gym teacher, and she's like really burly and kicks her ass a lot. In co-op, it's a really good time. The level layout's a little confusing because I'm only in the beginning, but it mostly takes place in a high school, which I was kind of bummed about. I wanted to start like on a street where you're running around. So I want to get to the part where you can go shopping and buy like cheeseburgers and books and learn new moves. River City Ransom is one of my favorite games of all time, so I'm happy this franchise is continuing.
I want Way Forward to do a 2D Metroid.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like classic
Or
16
Didn't they do didn't Way Forward do
They did
The Mummy?
Yeah,
I
they
mean
did
that's
The Mummy.
almost a Metroid game. That we've talked about that on the show plenty, but like The Mummy remastered, demastered.
Demastered.
It's called demastered. Yeah, that game rules.
No, they made a Contra game. They made an Aliens game. They've done
Yeah, the Aliens game's on DS, right?
Yeah.
They're good.
I wish they would port that to Switch.
Yeah, that was a great game.
more.
So Tetris 99, and now I realize and remember why you would get the physical copy, because the physical copy, which is $29.99, comes with a year of Nintendo Switch on.
There you go.
I will say, and I almost mentioned this before, but I paid for DLC for Tetris 99 for $9.99 to unlock the offline mode,
Yeah, I know.
which is just Tetris. Because I was like, I want to play Tetris on an airplane. And then my brain was like, you already have that in Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Oh, man.
And my other side of my brain was like, doesn't
But
count,
what
waste
if?
money.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta get all the Super NES games. I'm flying to Japan on Monday. And that's a long flight.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need all that Super NES goodness.
Or you could just
What do I have,
sleep.
like 24 hours of DRM free play? Once
Are there
I download them?
any additional Japanese games on the
No,
Japanese
so the
shop?
Japanese lineup I was expecting there to be some differences. It's all the exact same game.
That's cool.
Including the Jalico stuff, like Brawl Brothers. Demon's Blazon is part of it. That's Demon's Crest. Yeah, so same.
So that'll be a whole separate app, correct? For everything?
Yeah,
So
should be. It'll probably be the same deal as the NES. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
We're also getting Creature in the Well this week on September 6th.
Yeah.
And you guys talked about this
We
last
did.
week,
Yeah.
right?
I've played a couple more hours of that game. That game was
Yeah?
great.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Then we also have NBA 2K20, which is also out on September 6th.
Haven't played yet. Haven't seen yet. I mean, we saw it in the direct
Same.
a little bit, the footage.
Yeah.
Those guys sure are doing hoops out there.
They,
Sure are playing basketball.
Yeah, this is probably one of the most ambitious. I have no idea. It's not.
I saw
have
in
to
the
get Ryan
direct.
McCaffrey on here.
Sorry.
I saw in the direct today that those guys are out there really putting the funk on the dunk.
No, that is
Yeah.
terrible. Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, the hoops are on fire as
That's not okay.
really putting points on the board, getting the ball on the hole,
Casey,
doing the
stop
goals.
All right, so what is everyone playing this week that is very obviously not NBA 2K20?
No, I will say I'm happy that game's on Switch because that brings in a different audience, and I want to see more companies port their big, other console games to Switch.
Yeah.
So
Even
Brian,
though I won't play.
what have you been playing?
Mostly River City Girls, and then what else did I play?
Astral Chain?
A little bit of that. Yeah,
Yep, me too.
that game is gorgeous on
It's
Switch.
very pretty, yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I'm not like great at it.
I'm like that with most Platinum games. It's not a skill thing. It's like this is a type of game that you have to have a specific brain for.
I will admit that I play most Platinum games on like easy mode and just button mash my way through it just to see like the craziness of them. Like I really like Bayonetta, but I've never gotten to the point where I'm good enough to like chain combos together.
Right.
And,
Yeah. I mean, Mitchell Saltzman, who's been on the show before, he was on the Games Kind of episode.
Yeah, talking about Astral Chain.
Totally
Yeah.
awesome at these games. This is totally his jam. I played this game on easy. I think it defaults to like easy or normal, but it nudges you pretty frequently.
Yeah, you got to change it
bump it up.
because the easy mode in this case means you are missing out on like unique control options.
Oh, bummer.
And like it's definitely don't do that.
Okay, I haven't started it yet, so that's good advice.
It nudges you towards easy, which is weird too,
Oh,
right? Like
you're
by
playing,
default.
You're playing Blasphemous as well?
No, I'm about to start it. So I have a couple
I
of
don't know if
games
we
that
can
I'm
talk
going to
about
play. A couple of exactly. We have a couple of games that I'm going to play on the plane that I want to get some playtime into. But
Use
obviously,
Break Embargo?
continuing my quest in Fire Emblem, which is just such a freaking awesome game. Can't say that enough. It's just really, 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 really good.
Yeah, I'm
Casey, you need to.
I'm still playing Fire Emblem.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then Creature in the Well, I played a bunch.
I can't take Iceborne outside with me, so sometimes.
Sure.
And then I'm gonna crank through Astral Chain on the plane too.
One of the big games I've been playing is rearranging my library. So
Okay.
it's in my SD card,
yeah.
because this is obviously going to be a problem for literally everyone on Earth.
I'm right there. Yeah.
Pear and I have 400 gig SD
So do I.
cards. Yeah, and I'm just constantly like, okay, I'm out of space.
I finally hit a
Oh,
point
gosh.
this year, like earlier this year, where I had to delete. I had to delete something to download Fire Emblem.
Yep.
That was the first time I've had to delete anything.
So I bought the cartridge version of Fire Emblem.
For that reason.
Oh yeah, it's just some of these big games.
What did it
I'm
taste
gonna-
like?
Huh?
What did it taste
I
like?
didn't like it.
No.
Yeah, how many gigs is Fire
30.
Emblem?
I don't.
15 or something?
No, I'm confusing it with The Witcher because I know The Witcher is like 32 gigs.
Well, I know that
Witcher, I might have to get on.
within a week I downloaded like Wolfenstein and Assassin's Creed 3, and those were like 23 or 25 each.
Yeah.
And it was just like, well, there's a significant portion of this thing.
It is
12 gigs.
almost 12, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I obviously I need like a 512 gig, like a terabyte. What is this thing?
Just
support
start
up to?
swapping now.
Ugh.
Just carry it around with an external hard drive.
Or just you just ordered a new Switch. You ordered the Lite.
Yeah.
Start a new Brian. become a different Brian.
Brian 2.
Get the Nintendo Online family thing and have a child Brian, like baby Brian.
Leave the country, get a new name.
Get a new name.
Become a new person.
Give your social security
Grow
number
a
to the
funny
first
mustache.
person who calls. Yeah.
I don't have a solution. I was trying
Okay.
to think of a solution. I do
No,
not have one, and I'm
No,
sorry.
it's the solution
Delete
is to delete
Fool.
stuff. It's to erase my hoarder mentality that says I'm going to play this someday and just realize I won't.
What did you delete?
I ran into this though. Like I was
Assassin's Creed 3.
playing Tiny Metal, and I wanted to compare the new one to the old one, and I didn't have Wi-Fi, and it wasn't downloaded. So it's a pain in the butt when you just want to play that one game, and you're in the Andes Mountains without internet access. That happens.
All my games.
I've also been playing Fire Emblem. I've also been playing Creature in the Well. And then I downloaded, I said earlier, I downloaded Final Fantasy VIII last night and played about the first probably hour and a half of that.
And you love that game.
It's-
Are you one of
it's
the
one of my
weirdos
favorite-
who think it's the best one?
No, I don't think it's the best one,
Okay.
but it's
Okay.
probably my second favorite behind 12.
It was funny. You waited in line to play that at Gamescom, and it was like, oh, this is great because A, this game's out in like a week and a half, and B, it's been out for 30 years.
Well, yeah, I was waiting in line, and then I turned around and saw you and Max waiting for me. I was like, what am I doing? But it runs, honestly, like Gamescom was a couple weeks ago. It runs better now than it did at
really?
Gamescom.
'Cause,
Yeah,
it looked choppy.
It looked choppy. I think that like those 32-bit RPGs like that, it's really funny when you've got a static background and then polygonal characters, because it makes the characters pop so much more when it's in HD, and the character models look great, smoothed out. Like they look awesome. The actual issue for me is the CG cutscenes, because the CG cutscenes are compressed on the disc to fit on a PlayStation disc, and then on a tube TV they look mostly fine. They look really great. But when you see that compression blown up into 1080, 720, whatever, it's much more pixelated. And actually, the CG stuff that blew me away as a kid looks significantly worse in this version. And that's a bummer, because Final Fantasy VIII was the one where they figured out like how to really tell the story. Like it's really interesting in the way that like they use a lot of those CG movies, but it also, there's a lot of moments in the game where CG things are happening in the background and you're controlling your polygonal model on the screen. So it's like this cool blend.
Right.
But it looks bad. Yeah, in an HD version, which is a bummer. But I highly recommend the game. It's totally weird and totally unique for a Final Fantasy game, and it runs great. So
it is about time for question block, and we only have time for one question, so I'll make it an easy one.
wait, what are you playing?
What am I playing?
Just Fire Emblem?
I'm playing Monster Hunter and Fire
Yeah.
Emblem.
Okay.
I don't have time for anything else. You know how big those games are.
Sorry.
But hey, from Exequiel Arellano from our Facebook page, he asked, what was your most pleasant surprise from the Direct?
I mean,
Super Nintendo's a big one.
yeah, I would say
that
SNES, but
20 games was a really cool surprise.
I would say the SNES games, but I don't feel like I was particularly surprised by that.
Probably Star Wars Jedi Outcast 2, just because it's completely out of left field, and it also opens the doors for a bunch of other vintage Star Wars games to maybe show up. So that's interesting.
Let me think about that. Most pleasant surprise. I love this stuff when they drop something on you that day. So like having Banjo-Kazooie out today makes me look forward to going home and beating my kids
What?
with Banjo and Kazooie.
Okay.
Yeah.
It needed
I'm
that
sure
qualifier.
I'm sure they've already downloaded the update on our home Switch.
Maybe my most pleasant surprise was Divinity Original Sin.
Yeah,
on
that's also a really good
same
one.
And
thing.
like also getting it today. That's really cool.
Divinity Original Sin 2, but because it has the Steam cloud saves.
I really like the
excited about
pace
that.
of this Direct. I felt like it did fizzle towards the end because it went through a montage of games that we already knew about.
Yeah.
And then it tried to kind of recapture that magic with Xenoblade at the end. But overall, I thought this was really fun.
Yeah,
this
me
was
too.
a really good, successful Direct, and I didn't expect this many new announcements and this many cool little surprises.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is good.
Good one.
Right before we went in, Tom was like, "Are you excited for today?" And I was like, "I absolutely love this.
Yeah.
The fact that we
Yeah.
have like 5 or 6 of these a year at this point, and they're just like surprise announced, and a day and a half later, you're sitting there like with all your friends, and you're watching this hour-long presentation of just like your favorite company launching a bunch of new cool stuff." It's just so cool.
There could have been bad news and everything. Like, hey, your Nintendo Online is going up by $5, or we're gonna remove all the NES games, and now here's the year of Super NES. None of that. We're getting 20 Super NES games.
Awesome.
On top of all the stuff you already have.
Yeah.
They're all
Still
good
no
things.
Netflix.
I'm always very excited to come into the office to watch these sort of things.
Yeah, me too. Like, so many of the directs happen early in the morning, like 6 a.m. PST, and so obviously we're not going to group up at 6 o'clock in the morning. But I was really excited today to come into the office, and I messaged the three of you and was like, do we get to watch it together? Like, can we sit down and react to it together, which is great.
Someday we should do a pre and post show with NVC.
We've done that before.
It was a 3 p.m. time slot for the show, which is exactly when we record Nintendo voice chat, so we had to actually move it.
Yeah.
I actually did look into getting it in here to watch, and the only way to do it is to connect it to that TV.
So we'd have to
So
watch
we
it.
would-
Also, I just realized we didn't put
We
the
never
logo
turned
up
it
Oh
on.
no!
the whole time.
Well, just imagine.
Please feel free to Photoshop whatever you'd like back there.
Yes.
Not whatever you'd like.
Yeah.
Something
The
wholesome.
next game's coming
None of
to
the things
Switch.
we mentioned earlier.
Good Lord.
Well, that's about all the time we have today for Nintendo Voice Chat. Have fun photoshopping that TV back there.
I really wish I hadn't said it, to be honest. Yeah.
Remember, you can listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform every Thursday at 3 p.m. or on IGN.com or YouTube, also on Thursday at 3 p.m. What a world. Thank you so much for... This is something you said to us. So. But anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions for Question Block, you can reach us at nvc@ign.com, or you can go to our podcasting forums on Facebook. And thank you so much for watching. And remember, this is the only place you can
Get the thing. Get the thing.
Good thing.